I don't like that because there's been so many different guys who's made it work. That's been two alpha dogs or two superstars on one team. You got LeBron and D Wade. You got Steph and Clay, Michael and Scotty. You got Shaq and Kobe when they were in the league. It's so many other teams out there that made it work. And the difference is they all had a legit game plan installed in their offensive system, starting with the head coach. This is one of the many reasons I said Steve Nash should have been in the Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. And this is the best sports podcast there is. But hey, man, I greatly appreciate you tuning in, whether you're listening to me on Spotify, iPodcast, iHeartRadio, TheRunUSA.com, or you're watching on YouTube. So I appreciate it. I hope you've been having a great week so far. And if not, I hope I can make that better for you. But look, I have to admit, and it kills me to say this, but I'm going to be honest about the situation. I was wrong. Yeah, I said it. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I apologize to all of those Cleveland Cavalier fans out there who are diehard. They're rooting for their team to go far. I apologize because the Cleveland Cavaliers are a tier 1 team. And I say I apologize because I clowned them. At one point, I was giving it to the Cavaliers about this Donovan Mitchell trade. I said this team is not going to be stacked enough. The personnel is not going to be able to mesh as good together now. I mentioned they gave up too much. They gave up way too many picks for Donovan Mitchell. And I disagree with all of that because the way they've been looking so far in this season, it's been absolutely amazing. And I know it's still early on, but a lot of things can still transpire and can still happen. But this team so far, to kick it off, they've been on a 6-game winning streak. They recently just beat the Celtics in overtime, 114-113. And man, when you watch these guys play game after game, they have the grit, they got the personnel, and they play defense, which is huge. And also the coaching is good as well. So they've earned my respect. And these guys, they have guards that can score the ball and distribute at a high level. And they also have bigs as well who can rebound and play defense at a high level. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, that's truthfully all they need to stay relevant and to be somewhat competitors in this Eastern Conference. Because even comparing them to everybody else in the Eastern Conference, they stack up well. They stack up nice with these tier 1 teams that's here right now. So it's hard for me not to acknowledge my wrong and give the Cavaliers their respect that is well overdue because they've earned it. They've absolutely earned it. They're up there with the Nets, who's the Los Angeles Lakers of the Eastern Conference. They're up there with the Philadelphia 76ers, who can't stay healthy and mesh well together and don't have a bench. They're up there with the Miami Heat, who play gritty and grimy, very good team, but didn't change anything this season. They're up there with the Celtics as well because clearly they beat them. So Cleveland Cavaliers, you guys have earned my respect. You are a tier 1 team, and if you're a Cavaliers fan, I apologize for clowning you guys early on. You have my respect. Have a good season this season. But look, man, there's another team who may not even be playing in the postseason if they keep it up at this pace. They just fired their coach. One of their players was just suspended. So we'll touch on the Brooklyn Nets in just a second when we come back, man, to touch on the recent coaching changes of Steve Nash not being there and what they need to do to get it together. So we'll be right back, man. Stay tuned. All right. Now, as I mentioned, the Brooklyn Nets, they fired head coach Steve Nash, and now they are in negotiations with former Celtics head coach who is suspended right now, Ime Udoka. So I don't know why, but this kind of thing, I've heard a lot of different things about this situation, especially because the Nets have so many different things going on right now. Like I said, they're the East Coast Lakers, pretty much. They got the star power, they got the team, they got the talent, but they're just not getting the results that they need. And I already know. I know the problem with this team, but for some reason, people love to dramatize that whole narrative of, oh, well, 2 alpha dogs can't play together. 2 alpha dogs, no, two superstars can't play together with each other. There's just not going to work. One of them has to leave. One of them has to be traded. Let's kill that narrative right now, because I don't like that, because there's been so many different guys who's made it work. That's been two alpha dogs or two superstars on one team. You got LeBron and D Wade. You got Steph and Clay, Michael and Scotty. You got Shaq and Kobe when they were in the league. It's so many other teams out there that made it work. And the difference is they all had a legit game plan installed in their offensive system, starting with the head coach. This is one of the many reasons I said Steve Nash should have been in a hot seat, and I'm not upset that he was fired, because he never installed a game plan that works for these guys. When you have a game plan starting with your star players determining when, how, and where they're going to score the ball, it helps keep them off each other's toes. And it also helps everyone else around them understand, okay, he's in his spot, we're going to run this set through him. Or he's not looking for the ball right now, so I can maybe try and make something shake right now. It just helps an understanding from the offensive standpoint with any team. And we've seen it so many times, which is why I don't want to hear somebody has to be traded in order for this to work. Because that's not the case. It's worked way too many times in the course of history. And then now to kind of touch on the Ime Udoka thing, because if he somehow gets hired as the Brooklyn Nets coach, even though they're in negotiations already, so it's pretty much expected to happen, Ime Udoka is going to change the entire team in Brooklyn right now. It's going to be a completely different Nets team. And I say this because Ime Udoka is the guy who killed all of those narratives of, oh, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown needs to be traded. I know you remember that. Both of the stars were rising. They both were proving themselves as top tier talent in this league. And many people were saying, nope, alpha dogs is not going to work together. It's not going to work. Two stars on one team? Nope, somebody's going to have to leave. But what did Ime Udoka do? He installed a game plan that worked for those guys. But look, not only did it work for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, it also worked for Marcus Smart. It also worked for Al Horford. It also worked for all these other guys on the team that helped the offensive flow. So I'm just saying, it can work. It can work between Kyrie and KD. They just need a game plan. That's the only thing. And I've been giving this so much thought over the past few days because I've heard so many different things about, oh, this is what they need to do. This is what they need to do. These two guys can't be coached. Kyrie Irving's a problem. KD's a problem. That's just not it. If you have two guys who are most effective when they're on a team scoring the ball, you just got to make sure they can get there in their spots and score the ball, and make sure other people aren't stepping on their toes when they're trying to score the ball, and install something around them that's going to help them bring the best of value by scoring the ball on the offense. Like, I can talk about, I'm not going to keep talking about this forever, because I really can go on and on and on about this Brooklyn Nets team, because they have the talent, they have the roster, and they have the players there in motion. They just really need a game plan, which is why I want to see them succeed, and I want Ime Udoka to come here. It's a hell of a revenge story for him as well. But let's cool it. We're gonna take a quick break, man. We got much more stuff coming on. We have the MLB, NBA, NFL news coming up. Also week 9 predictions as well. And hey, man, feel free to call in at any time as well to leave a take, leave a question, leave an opinion, or just let us know that you're listening, man. It's greatly appreciated. So call in at 219-413-9405. Again, that's 219-413-9405. We're going to start back off with some news, and then we got predictions coming up, man. We will be right back. Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Let's get into it, man. The news for The Run. So the Brooklyn Nets, they parted ways with head coach Steve Nash, as I previously mentioned. And according to Woj, this was where the source came from, the Nets are finalizing a deal to hire suspended Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka. So that's going to be crazy. And more for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, they've suspended Kyrie Irving for promoting/posting a film on Amazon Prime that includes offensive language and sayings toward the Jewish community. He was suspended 5 games for that promotion of the film, and also his comments toward the film as well. Now, Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets pleaded no contest in the LA Superior Court to a felony domestic violence charge. He'll face up to 3 years of probation, but no jail time after a deal with the prosecutors. So that's, I mean, hey, I'm not even gonna clap it up. Don't clap it up, because we don't know the situation. We know it's a domestic violence situation, but apparently he's coming back. I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm gonna stay away from that because I don't know the full situation. So I'm not gonna stay into it. But just a recap of a few NBA games that were good that happened over these last few days as well. The Atlanta Hawks, they beat the New York Knicks 112-99 the other night in a comeback win. The Knicks, they led by as many as 24 points in the game. And DeJounte Murray, he finished the game with 36 points, 9 assists, and 6 steals while shooting all above 50%. So he balled out. He did his thing. The Lakers, they've been winning ball games. They're on a streak right now. But they beat the Pelicans the other night 120-117. And the Pelicans, they played with no Brandon Ingram due to a suffering of a concussion from the Mavericks game last Tuesday. But Lonnie Walker IV from the Lakers was the lead scorer with 28 points while shooting over 50%, man. I'm telling you, that dude is a bucket. He's been balling out. But let's move to MLB here. The Houston Astros, they beat the Phillies actually last night. They beat the Phillies last night with the score of 3-2 in the Game 5 in the World Series. Now the Astros, they lead the World Series now 3-2 games, and Game 6 will be played Saturday, November 5th. I'm looking forward to the Astros wrapping this up, man. Again, I said I want them to win because there was a lot of talk about the cheating and it was fluke, even though there's some speculations that they're still cheating. But hey, if they're cheating twice and get away with it, come on, like you give them a hand for that. If they're still cheating and getting away with it, I mean, hey. But the NFL for Thursday night football, the Philadelphia Eagles, they remain undefeated as they beat the Texans last night. They won 29-17. And the Eagles, their record is now 8-0. So they're doing their thing, they're balling, and they have the best record in the NFL. But let's do it. We have the Week 9 predictions in the NFL. That's a perfect way to transition. And my predictions last week were 12-4, which is a personal best so far throughout the NFL. I had a 12-4 record for Week 8 in the NFL. That's going to be tough to top. I'm hoping I can top it. It was also more games as well. So because I've had 4 wrongs in 1 week, so that kind of plays a part too. It's just I had more wins. But let's do it, man. Kicking it off with Sunday, the Packers and the Lions, they will play in Detroit. This is a win against Green Bay as I see it. I think the Lions are going to win this ball game here because the Packers, they've been stinking it up. They're young. They've been making a lot of mistakes so far. And for the Lions, this is just a time to get the revenge. I know they beat the Packers last year too, but they just got to get this win, man. Anytime Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a complete team and gives you an opportunity to win, especially against Detroit, because this is a big rivalry game, you definitely got to take advantage of that. And I feel the same way with the Bears too. They got to take advantage of this since Aaron Rodgers isn't at full strength like he usually is. So I got the Lions winning this game, and they better pull it off too. Yeah, first off, they better pull this off too, because I don't pick the Lions often, man. So they better pull this win off, and I need this win here from them. So let's get it going. But we also have the Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons. Cordell Patterson returns this week from injury. I'm hoping that's going to help out the Atlanta Falcons offense a lot. I'm picking the Falcons to win this game over the Chargers, despite the Chargers having a top 5 passing offense. That scares me a little bit because our defensive back with the Falcons, or our defensive backs with the Falcons, are not the best in the league right now. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Atlanta Falcons to win this ball game. I'm going with the home team. Let's bring it home, baby. Let's bring it home. I'm all with it. The Dolphins and the Bears, easy one here. We're going with the Dolphins to win this ball game. Panthers and the Bengals. Bengals are at home. Still no star receiver, and I can't remember the name right now, of course. Chase. Man, I can't remember the name. But yeah, I'm going with the Bengals to win. I think they're going to beat the Panthers easily here. You got the Patriots and the Colts. The Colts are on the road in this game against the Patriots, and I think the Patriots win this ball game here. You got the Bills and the Jets. This is kind of another easy pick right here. I'm going with the Bills to win this game. The Vikings and the Commanders. We'll go through the Vikings, Commanders, Raiders, Jaguars, and then we'll take a break after the Raiders, Jaguars. But let's do it. So the Vikings and the Commanders. Now, I have the Vikings winning this game. Again, they've been taking care of business as they should have on the road. They've been doing their thing as they should have against these subpar teams. And this is another subpar team here. So I think they're going to win this ball game. The Vikings, they look tough. And they're going to win. They're going to win. I'm confident in that. I'm confident in that. Vikings are going to win. They better win after beating all of these other teams. Let's do it. The Raiders and the Jaguars. Let's continue on. I have the Jaguars winning this ball game. The Raiders, they got left on a goose egg last week on the road against the New Orleans Saints. I can't pick a team that was left on a goose egg when you have that top of an off. You have a talented offense roster-wise and on paper. So it's hard for me to choose this team when they got left on a goose egg against the New Orleans Saints. So I'm picking the Jaguars to win this game here. But look, man, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to jump into the Seahawks and the Cardinals, which should be a great game here. So let's do it. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, let's continue on with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. This here is going to be a great matchup. I'm predicting this is a close game here, but every time I've picked the Cardinals, I've been wrong. So it's kind of hard for me to pick the Cardinals in this situation, especially after the Seahawks already won the previous matchup 19-9. And the Seahawks, they haven't been completely terrible. So I'm going with the Seahawks to win this ball game here. Pete Carroll has been doing an amazing job coaching this team, and I think they're going to beat the Cardinals here. The Cardinals, again, they haven't been good. Every time I pick them, they lose. They don't have a run game. Let's go with the Seahawks for the win. Now, the Rams and the Buccaneers. This is also another toss-up game here. Both teams are trying to bounce back from a loss in last week's matchup. You got the Rams. They're on the road here. Obviously, they haven't been the best team so far this season, but neither has the Buccaneers. They've been struggling as well. But I think I am going to go ahead and pick the Rams for a win. Because the Bucs, they're 1-3 at home. They're on a 3-game losing streak. They need a win bad, but also the Rams need a win bad too. So I think I'm going to pick the Rams for the win here. Let's keep going with the Titans and the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs, they've been balling. They've been balling. I'm going with the Chiefs to win this ball game easily. And the Titans, they're on a 5-game winning streak. It's not really doing much. It's not a lot of hype for me. I'm not really buying into the hype, only for the fact that they beat the Colts twice. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Texans. They beat the Raiders. They beating bad football teams. Like, come on now. Let's be honest about the situation. So this 5-game winning streak is a good morale booster, but it's not really doing anything in terms of saying, oh, this is a talented football team, because the skill level they've been playing has not been the best. Now, when they start playing teams like the Bills and beating them, or playing teams like the Ravens and beating those teams, then maybe we can reevaluate. But as of now, Titans and Chiefs win this matchup. I'm going with the Chiefs to win. They're also coming off a bye week as well, so I got the Chiefs winning this game easily. And let's do it for Monday Night Football, the last matchup here. You got the Ravens and the Saints. The Ravens are on the road, and they only lost once on the road so far. The other 2 losses have been against great football teams that they've played. You got the Giants, you got the Dolphins. And I think I'm definitely going here with the Ravens to win this matchup. And the Saints, they've been struggling. There's a report that came out that Michael Thomas is not going to be returning this week, and he's going to be expected to be out a little bit longer. So I'm going with the Ravens to win this ball game here in the last matchup for Monday Night Football. Now, look, man, I greatly appreciate you for hanging with me. That's all I have for you today. I appreciate you listening, especially if you made it this far through the predictions and all. Greatly appreciate it again. Whether you were listening to it on Spotify, iPodcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube to look at the video, or the runusa.com. I greatly appreciate you guys, however you were listening. And again, man, send it to a friend, a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a nephew, a niece, a grandparent, a grandma, a co-worker, the guy who you randomly airdrop stuff to. Send it to anybody who's in the living room with you, anybody who's in the bedroom, anybody. I greatly appreciate it. But hey, follow us on Twitter as well and Instagram at The Run Podcast, and follow my personal at I am Manny Wilson. But until then, we will be back next week. And so on and so on and so on. This is the second. We got two episodes this week. That was dope. Sports is picking back up. But all right, man, we out of here. We'll be back next week.